These boxers don't work as hard as me. So if they want to be pissed off, they can take that. They can take their thoughts and shove it up their. Life is marketing. Everything is content. Content is king.
All right, Marissa. So we had a pretty crazy interview with Jake Paul last night. It's kind of nuts.
Hey,
Jesse, we should maybe explain ourselves a little bit more too, and to why we wanted to interview Jake. Like why do we want to talk to him when, so many of the questions we get on the TSN post that we put about Jake Paul are why are we giving this guy attention? And I think it's important to note that he has now entered our world, right? Like we cover athletes, we talk to athletes all the time. He entered our world wanting to be an athlete. He's calling out athletes. He's come in and he said some pretty crazy things, including what he just did, what he just offered Conor McGregor, which is a $50 million check. And Jake Paul is just really good at antagonizing people, and that's exactly what he did here, so I had to ask him about it. Jake, you were pretty aggressive with your Conor McGregor call-outs a couple nights ago, so even offering him a $50 million payday, aren't you a little worried he's going to say yes?
That's the goal. I want him to say yes. Yeah, I mean, there's $50 million in a bank account waiting for him. We're in talks with his team, so it's a lot more serious than people think. And hey, he would catch them hands. He would catch them hands, and people are gonna say, "Oh, this guy's an idiot." And by the way, maybe I am.
You were fighting guys that maybe perhaps were not even at your level, right? Now you're jumping. You're jumping how many steps ahead here?
Correct, but that's why this is exciting. That's why we're talking about it. I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping way ahead, and I'm going to prove myself. And when that happens, people are going to second guess and be like, holy, what did I just watch? What did I just see? A YouTube celebrity take out a UFC fighter.
This guy has so much clout, it's coming out of his pores. Like, he could not have any more of it. So why does he want to get hurt? I mean, I had to ask. And
I just want to know, though, like, is there ever too much clout?
That's the thing, though. You don't need more clout. I feel like you have everything. You have money, you have power, you have women. Like, you're good, bro. Like, you're good. You don't need to hurt yourself, too.
This is the thing. This is the thing. Is I will become one of the biggest prize fighters in the world. That is my mission. That is my goal. And you guys will watch it happen. And you'll get to say one day, wow, I witnessed that.
I know, but you haven't actually fought a real boxer.
Not in a real fight, correct. But in sparring, I fight professional boxers and I beat them every single day.
I think Jake knows whether or not he knows if he can win or lose. I think he just wants to fight here. Like, this is a guy who's just making noise.
I'm doing it to win. But guess what, guys? No one ever remembered the name of the coward or the person who didn't want to do something great. Fighting is more than just fighting for me.
If you fight McGregor, that's just a win in itself. But yeah, I mean, I might throw a little money down on you, Jake.
The odds are going to be crazy.
Well, I wanted to ask him about Nate Diaz as well, obviously, because Nate called him out after he called out McGregor. Nate had some words on Twitter, and he had some words for Nate. All right, Nate Diaz took to Twitter to call you out, saying you can't fight and that you'll get your butt whipped for real. So what did you have to say to Nate Diaz?
So I beat up one of his sparring partners like 3 years ago when I wasn't even as good of a boxer. So Nate Diaz is a scrub. Like, I don't know what they're teaching over at their Diaz Academy, but it certainly isn't anything to do with boxing. I think they teach how to get beat the up because these guys suck at boxing. And I beat up his friends, so there's no problem. I'll beat up Nate Diaz too. I'm a pro fighter. Every opponent that they put in front of me, I've squabbled up, dusted them up, put them on ice, and made them look like a idiot. The same exact thing would happen to Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, all these guys.
We did have athletes call you out, though. Like, Evander Kane, you didn't respond. Like, are you going to take on these hockey players? Like, NBA players? Do you have anybody in mind?
Yeah, there's like NBA players and there's NFL players. Honestly, there's literally, I think someone on my team's keeping track of each person, and there's like 45 people or something at this point. So But I only want to with the ones that make sense and that are gonna be a dope fight, and the household names. I don't want to do small.
He's 23 and he's one of the most talked about people in the sports world right now, which is a pretty remarkable thing considering he's not actually. Well, I mean, is it fair to say that he's not an athlete at this point?
He is training. Like, if you watch the fights that he's been in publicly, you can see that he does have some technicality there. He does have very heavy hands, and he can handle himself in a fight. Listen, Mike Tyson famously said everyone's got a plan so they get punched in the face. Obviously, we all know this. Have you ever been caught clean? Really, truthfully, have you ever been caught clean? And how do you rate your chin? Where do you rate it?
My chin is a 100 out of 10. My chin is one of the best out there. I like getting hit. And unfortunately, I haven't gotten hit in my past 2 fights, not one time. So I'm getting harder fights in sparring. Every single sparring session I've had is harder than all the fights I've had. I'm sparring pro boxers in Vegas, so it's like these UFC fighters. The thing is, they don't have head movement. They're not boxers naturally. They're throwing elbows and kicks. When you step into the boxing ring with me, you're and look. Everyone's gonna come back to this interview a year from now and be like, oh, like this kid is onto something. This kid's crazy, and they're gonna become fans because they're gonna be like, wow, he wasn't just saying just for clout. I don't need more clout.
He tried to send a message to Conor, I guess, by going after his friend Dillon Danis, and by going after, he actually threw rolls of toilet paper at him, and he explained very clearly why he chose toilet paper as well. Jake, I want to ask you a question, man. Obviously, your video went viral. You threw toilet paper at Dillon, and I just want to know your perspective on what happened with that. Why did you do it, and why did you choose to use toilet paper?
Dillon Danis is the biggest talker that there is in this sport, maybe besides me. And I wanted to punk him. I wanted to make him look like a because he's a. And
how did you know where he was?
I want to obliterate him one day. And so for me, that was just having fun. And I chose toilet paper because he's the biggest talker, so he had to wipe his face. But I knew where he was because LA is my city, and you got to check in. So when you come here.
Before we went into this, I guess I didn't know your views on Jake Paul, right? Like we've actually never discussed how we felt about him. I know you know how I feel because I always comment whenever you guys post anything about Jake Paul, but I've never actually discussed with you how you feel about him.
Look, do I agree with everything that Jake Paul does? No. Do I think Jake Paul can, go about things better? Obviously. It's almost a clout thing, like to stir the pot. And I think Jake Paul has done an excellent job of really getting his name out there and execute what he's trying to do, which is just, make a huge name for himself, build his following, make more money. This is all, again, it's all calculated. So I think from that sense, I think Jake Paul is definitely, if people don't think he's smart, I don't think that's necessarily the most accurate assessment of him. I think Jake Paul actually is smart.
The fact that he literally puts it up. Like, he says all this stuff, and then he puts it up. Like, he's no coward. Like, he does not run away from this stuff, even though people were trying to paint it like he was running away when he threw that toilet paper at Dillon. Like, it's hard for me now to hate on him the same way that I did going into it, only because now you see the calculation behind everything. But I needed to ask him the questions that I feel like everybody has, including myself.
But don't you think that you're like marginalizing guys that have been training their whole lives to like get to this point? Like, you come in there, you get these like crazy cards. Do you not feel like some of the boxing world maybe resents you a little bit?
Cool. Suck a I don't care. Because guess what? You want to know what I worked my whole life on? First of all, is being an athlete as well. And building my brand to become a celebrity and working my off every single day, hustling on YouTube to get 7 billion views. That's why people know who I am. These boxers don't work as hard as me. So if they want to be pissed off, They can take that. They can take their thoughts and shove it up their ass. Life is marketing. Everything is content. Content is king. This is a business disguised as a sport. Really resonate with that for a second. If you are mad that I am doing the best business, then f off. Maybe step your business up. Because I'm working on the sport side of it every day. I'm doing two-a-days. I'm getting better at the sport. But guess who's the best at the business? Me, my brother, Floyd Mayweather. These are Conor McGregor. These are the guys that are household names that are putting on the biggest fights. Mike Tyson, Anthony Joshua. They know how to brand them. Ryan Garcia. These are the best people who are doing the business.
He should expect to be asked questions like that, and I thought you did a great job with asking your questions to him. I thought you stayed strong, and sometimes it's not easy to do that with high-profile celebs. Like Marissa, we've got followings, but neither of us have cracked 70, and neither of us have come close to cracking 100K. So yeah.
That's true. That's not true, Jess. You're climbing there, buddy. Like you're almost there, Fred. But you obviously you came in there. You had very specific questions because you needed to know. You needed to know what was going through this guy's mind. Like, how does he even come up with the crazy stuff that he comes up with?
I also just want to know, how do you think of these different trash talking methods? Like this is the most insane trash talking I think anyone has seen in the sports world in a long time. You're not actually just talking, you're like literally throwing stuff at people. So when did you come to the realization like, oh wow, like I want to fight Conor McGregor, or wow, I want to throw toilet paper at his trainer? Like how do you even think of this stuff?
I knew I wanted to fight McGregor 9 months ago. That's when the goal started. And the rest of it is just the road to McGregor. People, like I said, people are going to watch it unfold. And for me, look, I'm just having fun.
And you know what else I needed to know? The question we were all wondering, I know he's addressed it before, but will he ever fight his bro? I mean, who knows? And at the same time, would he ever fight me? I think the craziest card that everyone could think of, McGregor's one thing, Mayweather's one thing, but would you fight your bro?
Yeah, I think it'll happen one day. I don't know though. Like it's just like it's just this weird thing where it's like a back and forth, and our egos get in the way. So our parents don't want us to do it, but and I don't know if I even want to do it, but I do want to do it. It's like this back and forth thing, but who knows? I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. But if it did happen, that shit would be crazy.
I just want to say, man, that if you ever come to Canada and you want to put on some skates, I will drop the gloves with you and I'll whoop your ass in Canada. So if you're up north anytime, I'm right here, man. Like,
Jesse just says everybody wants to fight him.
I will knock you out, man. I'll throw rolls of toilet paper. I'll throw rolls of hockey tape at you. So, I know I'm not necessarily the biggest name here, but if you ever want to go one-on-one, I'll go
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for the offer.
But Jake, realistically, I'm like 5'11". I'm 175. I actually want to know, do you think you could kick my?
But easily, within 5 seconds.
Do I have a punchable face?
No.
Aw.
No.
That's the nicest thing any athlete has ever said to me.
Was this part of his calculation, Jesse? Is he playing Grandmaster chess here with us? Did he know this is gonna happen? Or it's we're gonna have this conversation with him. We're gonna pause to reflect on the feelings that we had about him from beginning to end. Did he know? Is he really playing Grandmaster chess with us?
Is Jake Paul a charmer?
He's marketed himself from the beginning of his YouTube career until now. Yes, he said some pretty divisive things, and I think that we need to acknowledge that. And then there's also the other side of the coin where it's okay, well, we talk to athletes all the time and we give athletes a platform all the time, and sometimes those athletes also have records and they say things that maybe they shouldn't have said. So it's where do we as journalists now draw the line for these guys?
Exactly. I could not agree more, Marissa. And Jake Paul is truly a polarizing figure, but at the same time, this is still sports. It is. It's boxing. Mm-hmm. His brother is fighting Floyd Mayweather. That's crazy. What are we not going to take that seriously at all? We have to. Floyd Mayweather is one of the best to ever do it.
You know what's so funny about that is that we did mention that to him, and he didn't seem to think it was a big deal.
Even your brother thinks this is crazy.
Well, my brother's a.
Are you serious?
My brother's
he's
1-1.
Mayweather.
My brother's 1-1. He's a podcast host. I'm a professional fighter.
The guy is certainly stirring the pot right now, and I still do feel confident that I would whoop his if we drop the gloves. But anyways.
Not even close. I would not let you get near him. You will get hurt, buddy. Don't do it.
Can't hurt these jibs.